A lot of people attended these parties. A lot of people saw this activity going on. A lot of people allowed it to go on, said nothing, didn't intervene, maybe benefited from it, profited from it.
If the claim is that he had unwanted sex with her, that claim is baseless. And it will be proven to be baseless when we have a trial.
A prominent lawyer has just revealed shocking details about arrest warrants for several high-profile celebrities allegedly tied to Diddy's infamous scandal. From hush money to shady transactions, the web of intrigue is growing, and it's not just about the music mogul himself. Which high-profile names are being dragged into this storm of criminal accusations? Let's explore this twisted web, because the truth is more shocking than anything we've seen before. In a crowded courtroom filled with tension, 25 minors out of 120 clients stand at the center of a dramatic legal battle. Among them is Diddy, a man who remains steadfast in his belief that he's innocent. His defense team is ready to let him share his side of the story, and it's clear this case is about more than just clearing his name. For Diddy, it's about standing up for anyone who has ever been wronged by the government. Just 5 minutes ago, new arrest warrants were leaked, connecting Hollywood stars to Diddy. These shocking revelations could either ruin his empire or reveal a truth no one expected. Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain. This trial has the power to shake Hollywood to its core. In the midst of this legal storm, Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, is creating a buzz with his dramatic talk of life in federal prison. His approach is full of shock value, aiming to captivate the public's attention. As for Diddy, it seems he's desperate to reveal every detail, with his lawyer promising that the trial could turn into a performance for the ages, tears, confessions, and perhaps even a surprise dance number. Things are about to get very messy. The case involves more than just Diddy's actions. A woman who once worked in a band, unrelated to the criminal case, has come forward with allegations. However, another member of the same band denies ever witnessing the incidents she describes. While her statements have created a stir, she is not considered a key witness or part of the government's case. Now, the situation has grown even more intense. Diddy is facing deep trouble, but this isn't just any scandal. This could bring down careers and expose the dark side of Hollywood. With new developments emerging, it's becoming clear that some of the industry's biggest names could be dragged down with him. If you're a fan of celebrity drama, brace yourself. This is far more than just a headline. It's a meltdown that could rattle the entire industry. In the midst of all this, attorney Tony Busby has weighed in, hinting that the scope of this case is much broader than a single celebrity downfall. Known for his bold and direct style, Busby suggests that some of the most powerful entities in the business, hotels, banks, and more, could soon find themselves in the spotlight. If those giants get pulled into this, there's no telling how far this scandal will spread. Reports suggest that the feds may have a bigger target than Diddy, someone more famous and already caught on tape. As the case moves from civil suits to criminal charges, the involvement of federal authorities makes things more serious. Diddy's defense argues that he's the victim of a biased investigation. Meanwhile, prosecutors are eager for a high-profile conviction, treating Diddy as their big target. His legal team claims it's all a personal vendetta, with everyone looking to profit from the case. Diddy himself has admitted to hitting rock bottom, making no excuses for his actions in a damaging video. His team, however, insists that his case doesn't involve minors, unlike other high-profile figures who've recently fallen from grace. It's almost as if they're trying to say, "We're not as bad as those other guys." The defense seems focused on distinguishing him from more infamous scandals, emphasizing that while his actions may be questionable, they don't cross into criminal territory. The message is clear. They're admitting to some bad choices, but they insist it's not criminal behavior. But here's the big question. Will Diddy's decision to take the stand help or hurt him? Is this his chance to turn the tide? Or will it be the moment when everything is finally exposed for what it is? And how much of his defense is really about distancing himself from the likes of R. Kelly and Epstein, trying to avoid those comparisons that are starting to loom larger and larger. The situation is looking increasingly uncertain. His defense clings to the argument that he's just misunderstood. But when the strategy starts with, "I'm not like those guys," it's clear he's already in a tough spot. There are rumors swirling around, like one involving Usher, where the situation was so heated that it nearly pushed him out of the industry. Then there's the disturbing story about how someone was allegedly sent to the hospital after an incident on his watch. The details are chilling, and it's only fueling the fire. The stakes are high for Hollywood's elite, and no one wants to be tied to the mess surrounding Diddy. Whether you're a musician, actor, or politician, if you've been linked to him, you're hoping your name doesn't get dragged into the chaos. Many are quickly distancing themselves from Diddy's infamous parties, once symbols of luxury, now seen as risky associations. What was once glamorous is now a potential liability. Take Tony Busby, for example. He's made it clear that he's not focusing on just one individual. He wants to drag anyone involved into the courtroom. Busby has already begun sending demand letters to some high-profile figures, warning them that if they want to stay out of the scandal, they'd better pay up. According to him, some celebrities have already settled, paying hush money in hopes of burying this mess. But Busby isn't backing down. He's hinted that if these celebrities don't pay, their dirty laundry will be aired for the world to see. The stakes are growing higher. Talk is circulating about photos taken at Diddy's parties, one in particular featuring Cuba Gooding Jr., which are now under heavy scrutiny. These images could drag even more names into the trial. Once such photos are introduced into evidence, there's no telling what could unfold. It's clear that those who were once eager to be seen with Diddy are now scrambling to distance themselves as quickly as possible. Just recently, Mel's Drive-In, a famous old-school Hollywood diner, quietly removed photos of him from their walls. They no longer want to be tied to his name either. This situation is quickly spiraling out of control, creating a domino effect throughout Hollywood. A-list celebrities are quietly making deals, hoping to stay out of the mess, while the D-list players are scrambling to avoid being dragged into the fallout. In the background, the entire industry is on edge, watching nervously as Diddy's trial approaches. The scandal surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has grown far beyond one man's alleged misdeeds. The mess has expanded to include major hotels, banks, and corporations, all of whom might not have been innocent bystanders. It seems that some of these companies may have been complicit, either helping out behind the scenes or, at the very least, turning a blind eye while raking in the cash. At the center of it all are Diddy's notorious parties, or freak-offs, as they've come to be known. These weren't just your typical high society gatherings. They were held in luxury hotels where the line between a glamorous celebration and a full-blown horror show became dangerously thin. Reports suggest these wild, substance-fueled parties involved intense pressure on attendees to engage in illegal and abusive acts. And who was in charge of these events? Diddy, of course. But here's the twist. He wasn't alone in this. New revelations are coming to light that major hotels allegedly knew exactly what was going on in their suites. Why? Because they were making a fortune from these events. Picture high-end, upscale hotels, places where you'd expect the staff to be on top of things. Yet somehow, with intimate parties full of substances, no one seemed to notice anything unusual. How could that happen? The likely answer is that they did notice but chose not to intervene. After all, the money rolling in from room bookings and services made it easier to turn a blind eye. Why risk upsetting a high-profile client, especially when they're bringing in both money and celebrity status? Even worse, some hotel staff may have been actively complicit, quietly benefiting from the situation by keeping their mouths shut. Tony Busby, one of the lawyers involved, has pointed out that there's a whole list of corporate players who were all too willing to overlook this behavior. Some might have even gone as far as covering it up, making sure the press and authorities stayed far away from these sordid events. Now, with lawsuits piling up, the hotel brands are staring down the possibility of huge financial consequences. And that's not even considering the reputational damage. If the courts find they were complicit in the crimes, these hotels could be facing massive settlement costs. Then, there's the involvement of banks. At first, it might seem hard to connect financial institutions to something like this. They weren't exactly present at the parties. However, when following the money, a different picture begins to emerge. Diddy's parties were elaborate and costly. There's speculation that banks may have played a role in processing shady transactions, including handling hush money, bribes, or funds to cover the costs of substances used at the events. Banks have a legal responsibility to report suspicious activity, especially when large sums of money are being moved around in unusual ways. But if the bank was more focused on keeping a high-profile client happy, they may have ignored the red flags. It's easy to dismiss this as mere speculation until all the facts are laid out in court. But take a closer look. It doesn't seem too far-fetched to think that the same banks handling Diddy's extensive business empire could have been complicit in hiding some of the darker aspects of his life. These institutions, which manage millions of dollars, might have played a role in sweeping the dirt under the rug. But it doesn't end with just the hotels and banks. There are whispers about pharmaceutical companies possibly being entangled in this web as well. Some of the victims associated with Diddy's infamous events tested positive for highly unusual substances, such as horse tranquilizers. These are not substances you can casually pick up at a local pharmacy. If it turns out these drugs were being supplied or used at Diddy's parties, pharmaceutical suppliers and distributors could be in serious trouble. In fact, they might face some tough questions about where they sourced these substances and how they ended up at such high-profile events. This is where the story takes a much darker turn. If large corporations, including pharmaceutical companies, were somehow complicit in this chaos, they could be held accountable as well. The legal fallout could stretch far beyond Diddy himself. As the lawsuits pile up, companies are starting to sever ties with the controversial mogul. Just earlier today, America's Best Contacts and Eyeglasses announced they would no longer sell his Sean John frames. Several stores received urgent messages to remove all products related to Diddy from their shelves. Corporate greed is often a driving force behind decisions in the celebrity world, and the temptation to look the other way for the sake of profits is powerful when you're dealing with multi-millionaire celebrities. In this case, the allure of a steady stream of income from a high-profile client like Diddy might have been enough to overlook questionable behavior. But now, the chickens are coming home to roost. Tony Busby, the attorney handling the growing number of lawsuits, is unearthing skeletons that were previously hidden in the closet. It's looking more and more likely that Diddy is not the only one who will be caught in this legal storm. These lawsuits aren't going away anytime soon. Busby has confirmed that he's pursuing legal action across multiple states, and the scope of these cases is vast. We're not just talking about the events that took place at Diddy's parties in recent years. These lawsuits reach back decades, covering incidents from the 1990s to as recently as just a few years ago. As new cases emerge, more businesses could find themselves in the spotlight. The questions for these hotels and banks are no longer limited to whether they'll lose money in court. The real issue is whether these institutions can survive the reputational damage. No one will want to stay at a hotel known for hosting drug-fueled orgies, nor will anyone trust a bank that turns a blind eye to suspicious money flows. The level of scrutiny these companies are now facing could be catastrophic for their brands. If the courts decide they were involved in these illegal activities, the financial repercussions could be devastating. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. What's still to come in court is what could make the entertainment world and the business world shudder. If you think you've heard all there is to know about this scandal, you may want to think again. The next few months could reveal some of the most shocking revelations Hollywood has ever witnessed. Diddy is reportedly ready to spill the tea, and some of the most powerful names in the industry are scrambling to avoid getting caught in the mess. This is no ordinary celebrity scandal. We're not dealing with another petty feud or fashion faux pas. This is the kind of mess that exposes the hidden, dirty secrets of the powerful, and those involved in this web of deceit are likely panicking right now. When a famous face is under fire, it's not uncommon for fans to make excuses or mentally twist the facts to defend their favorite stars, no matter how outrageous the evidence becomes. But this case is different. The revelations coming to light are far more explosive than your typical celebrity lawsuit. Arrest warrants, secret alliances, and shady financial transactions are just some of the juicy details that are emerging. Lawyers representing the victims are spilling the beans, and it's clear that things are not looking good for some very well-known names in the industry. Attorney Tony Busby, the tough-as-nails lawyer from Texas known for never backing down, is on a mission to get justice, and he's doing so with a vengeance. Busby is representing more than 120 individuals, each with serious allegations against a certain well-known figure, and it's clear that he's not pulling any punches. Some of this person's so-called friends are already distancing themselves from the situation, deleting posts, and pretending they never had any connection to him. It's almost as if they're trying to wipe the slate clean, erasing all traces of association like they never even knew the guy. It's a classic move for those trying to avoid the fallout, but it's hardly foolproof. The legal battle surrounding this scandal has escalated quickly. Busby has made it clear that these friends, now scrambling to cover their tracks, may have been involved far more than they initially let on. And while no one's advising people to drink irresponsibly, let's just say the situation has people celebrating life in their own unique way. Busby's focus, however, is on the truth. With Friday being just another day in this legal saga, it seems like the entire situation is turning into a chaotic celebration of sorts, with new revelations spilling out by the minute. As the drama unfolds, Busby is leaving no stone unturned. According to him, these friends of the accused are trying to clean up their digital footprints, hoping to erase posts and videos that might link them to the growing scandal. Nothing screams, "I'm innocent," more than scrubbing your social media, right? But Busby isn't buying it. In fact, he claims that some of these friends are even trying to silence others with hush money to keep their involvement under wraps. It's a sinking ship, and everyone is scrambling to escape before they're dragged down. The question on everyone's mind: how many more people will fall once all the facts come to light? Since the arrest, a series of lawsuits have been filed, each one more shocking than the last. Allegations range from misconduct and freaky parties to secrets that some of his A-list friends may have known about for years. Now, those same friends are in full damage control mode, racing to erase any connection to the scandal. After all, who wants to be dragged into something this massive? Busby has hinted that he's got a mountain of evidence, texts, photos, videos, you name it. And those receipts are being deleted at lightning speed. But as much as these friends may try to erase their tracks, it's too late. The evidence is already in hand, and it's juicy. Busby isn't shy about saying that there's a whole group of people out there sweating bullets right now. These individuals were somehow involved, and they're nervous as the legal storm brews. Busby himself is only scratching the surface, but he's made it clear that this is just the beginning. The real question now is how many big names will be implicated once all the details come out. It's like watching a game of Jenga, where every move could bring the whole tower crashing down. Despite the growing legal firestorm, the accused's lawyer, Erica Wolf, is sticking to her strategy of silence. According to her, they aren't going to dignify these baseless claims with a response. It's an interesting approach, especially when the media circus surrounding this case is only growing bigger. After all, when your client's life begins to resemble something straight out of a soap opera, it's easy to point fingers at the audience instead of the show itself. Meanwhile, Busby's hotline for victims has been flooded with calls, over 12,000 in just 24 hours. That's not just a trickle of interest, it's a tsunami. The sheer volume of people reaching out suggests that there's far more to this story than just a few baseless claims. The victims are finding a voice through Busby, who is already settling cases and offering them a chance at justice. But as he does so, he's simultaneously building a bigger case against the accused and those involved. And the names that keep popping up? They're enough to make anyone's head spin. One name that's managed to surface amid this scandal is none other than Prince Harry. Now, there's no suggestion of any wrongdoing on his part, but it's clear that he's somehow gotten caught up in the whirlwind. The last thing the royal family needs right now is their name being associated with a scandal of this magnitude. But as the legal drama continues, it looks like no one is immune to the fallout. Then there's Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music Group. Grange has been accused of turning a blind eye to the antics surrounding the accused. It's a classic move, pretending not to see the storm brewing around you until it's too late, and you're drenched in the consequences. Grange, for his part, may not have been directly involved, but his silence could prove to be costly. Just when you think things couldn't get any weirder, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s name is somehow dragged into the mess. He was named as a defendant due to some questionable behavior on a luxury yacht. He dismissed it as ridiculous, which feels a bit tone-deaf considering his own history with legal troubles. His name has been tied to several controversies in the past, and now, as more names are being dropped in this latest drama, his dismissiveness rings hollow. Then there's Young Miami, who was dating Sean Diddy Combs at the time the allegations came to light. Naturally, she's distancing herself from the mess. She claims she has no knowledge of the events, saying, "I wasn't around at the time." It's a line straight out of the playbook for anyone trying to avoid the fallout from their ex's bad decisions. It's a classic response, and it's hard not to see through it. After all, when you want nothing to do with the mess your ex has created, what else can you say? It's not just Diddy's reputation at risk. The scandal is threatening to pull down anyone even remotely connected to it. This isn't just a case of personal reputations at stake. The very future of careers is on the line. The allegations have cast a long, ugly shadow over the entertainment world, and if they stick, some of those involved could be facing serious jail time. It's not just about lost endorsements or contracts anymore. We're talking about career-ending consequences. For some, the fallout will extend far beyond just their work. Family ties and friendships could be shattered. And with so many names being dropped, it's impossible to know how many more people will be dragged into this before it's all over. The ripple effect could continue for months, if not years. As the allegations pile up, Lucian Grange, the CEO of Universal Music Group, is under fire, with his legal team vigorously defending him. They've called the accusations outlandish and knowingly false, and they're not just looking to have the case dismissed. They're ready to fight back in a way that could make the battle even messier, threatening to go after the lawyer who filed the claims. It's a power move that speaks to the world of the rich and powerful, where public relations battles are just as important as the legal ones. Deny the allegations, destroy the messenger, that's the playbook for the high-powered elite. Yet, as much as the legal teams are pushing back, the situation looks increasingly dire. The arrest has evolved into more than just a legal skirmish. It's now a full-blown war for public perception. Former New York City prosecutor Paul Callan weighed in, stating that if the accused is convicted, they're facing a future that could see them behind bars for the rest of their life. While Callan doesn't believe a life sentence is likely, even a 10 to 20-year sentence could effectively end the accused's larger-than-life persona. The kind of fame that once seemed untouchable could quickly be reduced to nothing more than a distant memory. Adding to the gravity of the situation, the judge has denied bail, a move that's highly unusual for someone of the accused's stature. Prosecutors made the case that this individual poses a flight risk or could intimidate witnesses if released. The entire situation unfolding right now is about so much more than just one person. It's about the powerful circle that surrounds them and the system that allows celebrities to operate in their own bubble, untouched by the usual consequences that the rest of us face until everything comes crashing down. As this high-profile case heads to trial, one thing is certain: the fallout is going to be catastrophic. As the details of the case unravel, the internet has exploded with speculation. First up, there's the body double theory. According to this wild speculation, the accused didn't actually get arrested at all. Instead, they supposedly sent a look-alike to take the fall while the real person was safely hiding away. Picture this. The person is holed up in a luxury hotel suite, sipping champagne, while their body double gets cuffed and hauled away by the police. The theory suggests that this person, with all their vast resources and connections, could easily pull off a Houdini-like escape, slipping away unnoticed while sending a stand-in to fool the authorities. It sounds ridiculous, but strangely enough, it's gaining traction. The allure of this conspiracy theory lies in the fantasy that the rich and powerful can manipulate any situation, even the law, to their advantage. Next on the list is a theory that's bound to the Epstein connection. Some individuals have linked this scandal to the infamous Jeffrey Epstein, and not in the casual, they bumped into each other at a party once kind of way. The rumors claim they were part of an elite circle that attended exclusive secret parties where illegal and immoral activities ran rampant. These gatherings were reportedly held in the infamous mansion in Miami, where Epstein is said to have hosted many of his most notorious events. Now, whether or not the accused ever set foot in Epstein's mansion is still up for debate, but the mere suggestion is enough to stir up even more controversy. The theory goes deeper, though. Podcasts like Joe Rogan's and even MMA fighter Israel Adesanya have hinted that the accused was involved in a darker side of the entertainment world. Some believe that if the heat turns up, they could start naming names, implicating all of their rich and powerful associates in exchange for a lighter sentence. This situation is feeding the public's insatiable hunger for a major celebrity downfall. People don't just want to see this person face consequences. They want to witness an entire empire collapse. One of the most talked about aspects of this case has been the late Kim Porter, Diddy's ex-partner, and the journal entries that some believe cast a shadow over his reputation. According to a recent theory, a newly published book titled Kim's Lost Words is said to contain journal entries from Porter that reveal deeply troubling secrets about Diddy. Some even speculate that these entries were the real catalyst for his arrest, almost as if they were the key to unlocking the mystery of his downfall. The timing of this book couldn't be more dramatic. It hit the shelves just as Diddy's legal troubles began to spiral, adding an air of mystery to the situation. It almost feels like the universe was conspiring to set the stage for his fall from grace. Of course, Diddy's team has dismissed the claims in the book, calling them complete fabrications. But that hasn't stopped conspiracy theorists from embracing the idea of a secret diary that holds the answers to everything. In today's world, where sensational stories often overshadow hard facts, Kim's Lost Words has sold like wildfire, fueling the narrative that Diddy's carefully crafted public persona might be nothing more than a lie. Some have even gone so far as to link Diddy's arrest to the real reason Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck broke up years ago. Yes, you heard that right. There are rumors suggesting that tapes seized in an FBI raid on Diddy's mansion were so explosive, they somehow caused Lopez and Affleck's separation. What makes this theory so irresistible to the public is its perfect fit within the Hollywood narrative of a dramatic, high-profile breakup. Lopez and Affleck were, after all, tabloid royalty, and this rumor gives people the juicy love triangle they crave, complete with a scandalous twist. While Lopez's team has quickly dismissed the rumor as nonsense, the story continues to circulate, morphing with every retelling. Adding another layer to this web of intrigue is Usher's unexpected involvement. After Diddy's arrest, the R&B singer made a strange move. He wiped his entire social media history. Some may shrug it off as a coincidence, but for conspiracy theorists, it's a red flag. The theory making the rounds is that Usher was trying to distance himself from Diddy, possibly fearing that some of his own connections could come to light. If you have nothing to hide, why delete your entire social media presence? Of course, Usher later explained that his account had been hacked, but once the rumor mill starts spinning, it's hard to stop. For many, the timing was too perfect to be written off as anything other than an attempt to cover up something bigger. Then there's the bizarre resurfacing of a song that sounds like Justin Bieber, which quickly gained attention after Diddy's arrest. The song, though confirmed to be a fake AI-generated track, features what appears to be Bieber's voice singing about losing himself at a party hosted by none other than Diddy. The fact that this song appeared right after Diddy's legal troubles began only added fuel to the fire. While the song itself is fake, the conspiracy theorists are still convinced that there's some hidden truth in the lyrics. They speculate that the song might have been a subtle clue or warning about the shady activities taking place at Diddy's parties. Could this trial bring down some of Hollywood's biggest names? Or is Diddy the victim of a targeted smear campaign designed to ruin his legacy? Leave your comment in the section below and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting contents. Thank you and see you again. Goodbye.